All right, people, welcome back. Today, the 5th of July, 21, right after some things. What's the latest? That building in Miami, they had to take it down, didn't they? Well, we'll move on. And Biden's in there, 100 and some days now, 160 some, is it? I'm going to tell you something interesting, people. Nobody on this or any earth, and we've seen some good ones. Both parties, come on, be independent. Could possibly be doing a better job than he in those first key things. Mending the fences, get people back into communication, reconnecting countries that were friends, not to mention trading partners, from this sabotaging. Yeah, I mean, I'm so impressed. The couple areas he needs to work on, he will. Little bird told me to find out about the fair tax. You know, the replacing the IRS. No, not a flat tax, fair tax. No more income tax. Have all your money. You can buy more. Boom's the economy. Boom, all the other nations will follow. He'll be doing that. Yeah, he just didn't have a chance to know about it. Trump talked about it. Loved it. Couldn't get it done completely. Yeah. Some good news, people. A lot of people are coming forth because of the internet. They're able to, and you're allowed to listen. And, you know, it takes a little navigating, a little learning. Well, hey, that's not a bad price to pay. No. Good things going on. So Biden's done a real good mend of the fence thing. He's kind of a moderate compared to some of the Democrats who are a little more, you know, socialistic or taxing, whatever. Okay, good. So we got that going on. In the immigration gimmick, yeah, similar to the COVID gimmick. Sure it was, you know that, right? Finally, people said we've had enough. We're back. You're coming back, and it's better than you were told it could be or would be or even is. The media are forced to leak out little bits of good news now. Yeah, it's coming back. Yeah. You're still there. You're not lost. Some had to cover for others. That's good. Help your fellow mankind out, you know? So Biden's doing a super job there. He'll fix it up on the tax thing as well. There's an effort to do a second masking now with these variants and all this stuff, you know. Oh, yeah. And they even have subverted Biden into forming a panel to talk about the new, the engine of variants that we, the non-vaxxed, are. Well, I think people are a little busy working to hear all that crap. I don't think it's going to go far. No, the good news is, you're back. You're back. You weren't gone. There's five points I've listed here that I want to show you that someone did some homework on. Oh, who wouldn't like to claim they did this guy's homework? I would like to, but I certainly cannot. I'm an aficionado. No. You know, years back, some guy at Harvard told the girl, and the girl told me it wasn't part of it, but it was told on campus. The homework of this guy. Okay? Yeah. And it was real interesting. A prison. Somebody mentioned the term, I saw it on the news and I think today, so I'm going to borrow it. The prison. People you see doing things that aren't right, you know, the kind of, those that get in the news, right? And then some that aren't in the news, and maybe any of us might have done something. We, good people, typically doing mostly good, might have done one or two things that aren't good. Not to justify, no, but to make a point. They're only done as a prisoner of something they carry with them that they didn't know that they had. They didn't know that they had. No. Layers of life. Really interesting, people. Let's see if we can give you a nice example here. We won't get into that. That's a little advanced. There's sort of a big gulp. If I were to tell you what the real picture is, it'd be a bit of a big gulp. Don't bother doing the big gulp. Do a little bit of something I'm going to tell you about. That's all. It's gradients. That's where I first heard the term gradients. By the way, we're using a mask fashionably to remind us of the lockdown that was built on a bit of a flawed narrative, you know, the misinfodemic and its virus of starvation. Trump was totally correct on that. He was attacked, Trump was, for the good things he was doing, but the reason he was being attacked was for other things out of the West Wing. He certainly was innocent and unknowing of the going on of. Yeah. And those people got Biden elected. Yeah. His platform, he was elected. Well, he had a platform that was to die for. I don't think you really realize how he was elected, though. He didn't have a chance. Well, anyway, but he was unelected heavily in the midterms, slaughtered. Worst slaughtering ever. Close to it. Look it up. And then in 20, really got lost there, you see? Well, no, there isn't any bad news. Biden and Trump are actually very much alike. Yep, they really are. Reagan and Trump were a lot alike. And Reagan said he aspired to be like Teddy Roosevelt. Heard him say it 3 times. Now, that's kind of a fair and balanced, pretty, decent person next door to Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah. He didn't tolerate any of this crap. Okay, so we've come forward, evolved with a little more junk or a bit more junk than we used to have in our nation's capital for those that were in the management of it. But, nothing unfixable. Well, full circle, the internet is the new big sheriff in town. Remember that now. This George Floyd thing didn't stand a chance because it was on camera, floated to the global court of public opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing it went the way that it did, because if people try to play games with that like they did with the Rodney King thing that was on camera, the first one, right, I'm afraid you'd have a real mess, yeah? People stood up, and of course we want evolution, not revolution. You don't want violence, blah, blah, but don't be pushing these people. Yeah, I don't want to hear how bad some people were. I want to hear who or what drove them to it, finally, after all these years. I like this article on riots by this guy, Hubbard, this writer. It was written 10 years after Kennedy was elected. And it talks about what you have now, the looting and the burning. That certainly isn't right, is it? Wait a minute here, though. We looted and burned their lives and souls and hearts and guts and food, clothing, shelter, transport, communication. We destroyed those people for eons of decades. What are you talking about? Then finally they go and light one of ours up and, we will certainly show how bad they are, because it is a wrong action. Duh. There's nothing we're going to go over that you don't know, and you know it's true, and you're allowed to go home and take your mask off. Remember that one around your loved ones? Why? Because you weren't a super spreader like some gimmick had you believing. And you're allowed to know the truth about these things going on. So in the article on riots by Hubbard, Google it, it's about a 2-page thing, yeah? He says, my God, they could just grab a little black kid off the street, beat him up, lock him up on some phony charge, and he's in prison. He was an undercover officer, this Hubbard guy. He was a lieutenant in the Navy, but when he was a policeman undercover in LA just to look at something. There's his ID and all this stuff. He said he even saw a room full of people, a whole room, who couldn't even name what the charges were. They're beaten and assigned convict labor. The Filipino professor was grabbed, his jaw broken, locked up on a phony charge because he was a Filipino in an all-white neighborhood of Port Edmonton, Washington. Not the town Port Edmonton, but a neighborhood of. Okay, so it goes on. Not as much now. Big sheriff in town. Everybody has a dash camera, yeah. The court of public opinion. Wow. Yeah. There's still people who are victims still, to such a degree they will try and fluff over, talk over, argue, justify all that crap. I'm being kind of soft on them, aren't I? Yeah, because I like this discovery by this guy Hubbard. Why would someone else have to discover something about you and me? You, me, we, they, us. Why that guy? He discovers, don't believe it? My God, check it out. Well, it's a rediscovery or a reminder again for us. All of you, all beings are basically good, originally. Yeah, how could you be bad before you decided to be? I'm trying to figure that out. Why feel guilty about something you haven't done? I'm borrowing some very able language. I'm a borrower. Yes. Yeah. And because people are basically good originally and still the same person, therefore they will disagree. Should they do, not you and I, but them, some little thing wrong, some middle, some more, some less, some this or that, they will object to it, therefore. This is sideways proof that they're good. And they'll mock up an injury or illness, God, to stop the self from further harming others. So karma is a self-inflicted hit. to rid the self of guilt. A self-arranged stop, or Rooney, stop, right? He goes on to say, by the way, if this is good, is it bad? Yeah, let's demonize it. He says, we are always our own worst executioner, comma, far worse than anyone else would. The mask, by the way, back to that. We're having some major dental reconstruct on the implants that take a year. So we're borrowing the recent COVID gimmick, the misinfodemic, its virus of starvation. We're borrowing its mask, one of its instruments. Hey, it wasn't this last time. What was it? That same doctor, what's his name, Kuchiku? This isn't his first rodeo. They were showing how he was in the AIDS, HIV/AIDS thing, right? And remember Magic Johnson? Big soundbite there, the big basketball player. He had AIDS, right? Yeah, they use that as, oh my God, right? But notice one thing, he never got sick. Just because he tested doesn't mean he rested in a hospital bed like Ted in the Shed. No, it was all crap. In fact, he's on to becoming one of these super big, multiplied his earnings from basketball, and he's a big guy. Yeah, big guy. Has a lot of good businesses for a lot of good jobs. Yep. Never got sick. No. But they use that. So this thing here was a hijacked, weaponized, and monetized little gimmick. Yeah. Remember Trump? Again, one of the futile things he did. Remember when Trump wouldn't, back to that, we'll get to this other thing in a minute. When Trump wouldn't like somebody, even by rumor or a dream, no matter how high up, Attorney General, head of the CIA, it doesn't matter. They're gone like before. They're gone before the thought, right? How could Dr. Kraka sit there and slap this guy for a year? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, he had no voice in it. How could a mere White House medical director say, get that bum out of here? Yeah. And he was called anti-science for having the sanity, wisdom, integrity, and guts to say, people, you're being lied to. Again, that's one of the few things, it's one of the things he did correctly that he was attacked for, anti-science. Why? Because of all the other stuff, the other bad karma. He'd do one forward, 10, 100 billion backwards. Look at the nations on its knees begging for a bowl of soup. And the other countries thinking, well, if the official White House medical Kraka, what's his doctor, says lockdown, they lock down. Look at this. Yeah. When there was nothing wrong, Trump finally said, God, guys, to begin with, you weren't sick, but you're told to go home and calling it, get a check, calling sick, right? But now after a year, you're still not. I mean, God, get back to work so you don't die of the virus of starvation. Really? That's called reality. Remember the picture of Trump in Walter Reed Hospital, right? At night, the camera's peeking through the window. We're all looking through, and there he is. Well, he got the flu, So he's at his desk writing stuff out, right? He felt good enough at home, sick with the flu, but doing a little work. And then he left the next day and he waved. Oh, they'd attacked him. Oh, there were some wrongs deserving attack, but this isn't one of them. People, you're allowed to know that you're not sick. Why are you locked up? Why are you wearing this crap? A lot of money. And having an equity position in the vaccine company. So he leaves the next day waving the attack. Well, first of all, why was he up working? Well, he had the flu. No, some people think he faked the whole thing because he lies a bit, right? No, he was sick. He had this and that. He told you before, done it before, but he felt good enough to get up and work. Like you and I in the old days, we'd have the 24-hour flu or a week flu, the H1, the N1, the swine, the pig, bird, the dog, hog, log, whatever. S1, N1, Mars, SARS, Venus, Saturn, all those flus. It's just the flu. Some had it a little, some middle, some more. People died back then. 30,000 one year, 80,000 another. They didn't talk about that. It's just the flu, and some people died, but over 3 million people a year die in the U.S., right? Yeah. A little over 1 million with cancer, right? 240,000 tuberculosis, so many on the highway, same numbers. Yeah, to give you a tip. So he went home because he felt good. Give you a tip. Why was he in the hospital? People that had the flu didn't go to hospitals. That's all crap. Anybody real sick, you go, or in intensive care, but you're being lied to. Dr. Kelly Victor, this incredibly beautiful blonde, mother of two, clueless that she is so beautiful, talks among the many, many, many doctors that are trying to sell you. They're trying to unlie to you, unsell you. Listen, Google Dr. Kelly Victory, listen to her talk. She's on the Harvard board or something and consultant to Fortune 500 companies about health care and emergencies and whatever all that stuff is. She gives 5 or 6 talks. They're about 6 or 7 minutes apiece if you Google Dr. Kelly Victor. But the one you want to hear that's 17 and a half minutes, you have to Google Victor Marx Presents Dr. Kelly Victor. Get the longer one, you'll see the woman at the top, the blonde with a white doctor coat. She goes into it. She's such a sweet, simple, sane speak. She'll say, people, well, now, the following, you can kind of look it up and verify it. Let's start with social distancing. Well, see, because, you know, that's something a young guy in high school came up with some years ago. Look it up. To call something in school, and I don't know, we're not really sure how that would apply or assist us medically or scientifically this afternoon. We aren't sure. Masks, she reminds me, you know, masks actually block the lungs from kicking out those things you've always been so glad they kick out, so they're rebreathed, and some get sick and go to the hospital for a new whatchamacallit. That's interesting. Yeah. And herd immunity is, and the kids, here it is. In one of her short talks, she says, almost everybody that died, of the 600,000, right? They were 70 years and older and had lung cancer, this, that, rotten bone, some crock, you know. And the doctors were forced to call it the COVID. You see, yeah, they borrowed from other bins. You probably have under 100,000 that died. 1 year we had 80 from some other flu. Yeah. So the number of the 3.1 million or so people die every year didn't change. Didn't really change. They just borrowed from other bins. Lied to you. Yeah. They'd have heart, lung cancer. Who knows what they had. A lot of money. And, you know, one will evolve to becoming a rather talented speaker. Dr. Kuchiku certainly is. They're threatening you now with, oh, you are engines of the variants. Oh my God, if you're not vaxxed. Oh, and it can only come from a person. What? So the flu, she goes on to say, Dr. Kelly, but now the COVID is actually a rather common form of flu, and it's one of the weaker forms, and upwards of 20% of the common colds are corona flu. Corona, by the way, from the word crown, she says, the little molecules on top like bubbles, so it's a crown. What does that rhyme with? Just say clown, you're light years saner than this stuff, guys. You've been lied to. Well, you were locked up for a year and a half, and there was nothing. You're still well, but you were locked up. All you people were locked up, losing jobs. I mean, half of the economy are those Wall Street companies. They could carry things, you know. The other half are little companies. What percent went under? They're closed. When there was nothing wrong. There you are. There's nothing wrong with you. There never was. All of you, there's nothing wrong with. Only the 1 or 2. What? I don't know. It's less than 0.2% that die? Well, it's one too many, but you've been so lied to. It's all available, but you're so barraged with, like a tsunami of the misinfodemic, you get the virus of starvation. Trump was 1,000,000,000% correct, but a little clumsy, and a little worse than clumsy by allowing things of his West Wing to be going on. And speaking of, how could Dr. Kuchiku be held in place? I gave you a clue. Somebody held in place. How could Trump would have had him booted out of their drop kick like a year ago. Gone! You little punk, White House medical, what are you, nuts? I got actual doctors here. But Trump made some clumsy mistakes, yeah. In his speaking, yeah. He was right. Be gone, be washed out. Then he made some worse mistakes, calling it the China flu and the Kung flu. No, it's not the China flu. It's the West Wing flu. It's a flu. They hijack, weaponize, and monetize it. A lot of money in there. So the key was someone locked him in place, and there's nothing Trump could do about it. Well, Google Trump's shadow presidency. You'll have it all there. Yeah. And then Google, well, golly. Vanity Fair on West Wing insider trading. Google that. You might think that's a liberal magazine, but they're interviewing non-psychotic, non-criminal Republicans on Wall Street who are pulling their hair out and couldn't believe what they saw. And they fired the regulators, right? You know, when Dr. Cucci talks, it becomes what we call an event-driven, those timely press releases become event-driven jolts in the market. You can jolt the market up or down and make bets up or down. When Trump would suddenly, who else would know about it? He would suddenly announce, you know, he would attack China, Canada, and Mexico. All got bad and things would fall. Yeah, there were. You Google that article, West Wing Insider Trading. It's not believable. 10 minutes before the market closes, 400 and some thousand contracts of the Standard & Poor's E-mini. You don't even have 400 without being looked at, or 40. What? 10 minutes before the market closes. Ooh, 2 hours later, Trump yells, China bad, boom, she crashes $1.08, they made $1.8 billion. Masking who? You know, 2 weeks later, 10 minutes before the market closes, 300 and some thousand contracts at the S&P mini, betting on the upside. 2 hours later, Trump yelled, China good, love call from China. Well, he had to walk it back. Okay, didn't get the call. He was trying to give you hope. Then they said, well, his aides got the call. Well, he don't let no aide get no call from China. China are huge. He don't have aides. He doesn't have a chief of staff. He's all that. And that would be wise in looking at a lot of how Washington has worked up until he got in there. Better running the thing yourself. It's just a biz, you know. So they viewed $1.05 on that up one, yeah. Because 2 hours later, he yelled China. So whenever he would talk against Canada, Mexico, caving them in there, just feeling terrible, then later you hear them say, oh, we love him. We love America. Sure, they're on the knees. They make you beg, pay to play. That's why he got booted out. Yeah, yeah. Karma will get you. So guys, he had a platform to die for. It was Reagan on steroids. Remember Reagan? You think of Reagan. No, it's not what side. Reagan was a moderate Democrat from a small town in Illinois like Abe Lincoln, who became a moderate Republican. When he entered, he was on the Carson Show, interviewed the Carson Show, Reagan and Johnny. He's governor, and then he's going to run. Taxes were 90 to 91% for the higher bracket. No, not for billionaires. They didn't have a billionaire talk thing back then in 80. No. Just the income bracket from working. The upper bracket was 90% and 91, I think. He got it down to 45. You see, they penalize the worker and they make working unattractive. It's not true. The more you make, the more you're taxed. No. The more you make, the greater percent you're taxed. Oh. Back to the thing. Biden will be doing it. I heard a little bird tell me. Replacing the IRS with the sales tax called the fair tax. Warning you that Einstein, of the many things he said besides 1 and 1 is 2, he said, remember, be careful. A negative person will always find a problem for every solution. He'll find pollution to the solution. Phooey. Yeah. So the fair tax is great. Yep. So Reagan cut it to 45. The second Bush came and cut it down to 39.5, and Trump at 37.5 attacked. And there will be abuses, and they'll highlight those. The media are glad to point out 1 or 2 abuses to make you think that the world is that way. No. Now, to cut the taxes down is part of it, but you got to get rid of the whole thing. Then you have all of your income to buy things. There's more production, more jobs. You boom the economy because the Personal Income Tax Agency is the main cause of a failing national prosperity and inflation. It runs a vicious can't-have on people. They can't have things. And then they, in turn, begin to run a can't-have on themselves. It's in the book. This book by this guy, Hubbard. I like him, yeah. Oh, let's demonize him, Big Pharma, you know. Remember Big Pharma? I do. Before all the Trump noise, just before that was just about when he came in. Big Pharma got caught lying about painkillers. They use that word that we would know, like opioids or opioids. What the hell's that new thing from Mars parachuting? What's an opioid or an opioid? You've never heard of it, nor had I. No. And I attended a school, an Ivy League school. I never heard of opioids or opioids that cost us about $2 trillion in suddenly medical emergencies. For these little towns, they went bankrupt, right? They lied saying painkillers, that's what they're called, that's what they are, weren't addictive. Millions of addicts for billions in profits, right? We'll get to the point now. Yeah, customers over cures. They paid doctors to lie. Doctors don't lie. No, those doctors did. If I bust my arm to go to the doctor, I like him. He isn't lying. That's to bust an arm. And he can fix it. What's up? We aren't against groups, nor are you. You're made to hate. Trump is correct. The media does that. Sorry about the mask, guys. Comes with age. Yeah. So, millions of addicts for billions of profits. So Big Pharma, they had to file bankruptcy. The big ones, the largest buyers in the media and buyers of Congress, tied for the weapon makers. They're tied with weapon makers for buying Congress. But it's just a game. I don't care. But you're getting it back. Good news. Getting it back, people. Getting it back. Yeah. So they're still around to demonize this guy. They have some ex-actress, I don't know, who said she was one of these Scientology people or something. Really? Well, that's interesting. But Big Pharma's paying her because this guy, investigated psychiatry for drugging you people. I didn't know this, did you? What do I know? Check the website. CCHR, Citizens Commission on Human Rights. Just had their 50th anniversary. They're a nonprofit. They help you to know some things that are public information. I didn't know this, so we got rid of all the addicts. There's 1.6 million uninsured addicts flopping around on the street. Yeah, they're psychiatric dump-offs. It's free. It's so normalized to go to My Shrink. It's pop culturized, right? And he says you need this, you get on this drug, you're addicted when the insurance money runs out that you and I pay for. Then you dump on the street, both an addict and believing the bipolar of what was it, the tree over there, the doorknob. Yeah, they have jet lag disorder, mathematics disorder. My God, Einstein would go crazy with that. Fear of spiders disorder, being a child disorder. Yeah, they prescribe Prozac for infants and dogs. Hello? It's a doctor. So, the nation went on street drugs after psychiatry had drugged the nation. I didn't know this. Check it out. There's good news here. And then painkillers became one of the hot things on the street to use, for self-medicating, whatever. They're addictive. Once you get hooked on them, you have to have other drugs to go with them. Street drugs. It's a shame. It's a shame, isn't it? So, a lot of money in that. So, they filed bankruptcy, Big Pharma, but there's some around that still make drugs that have to demonize this guy. I don't need to demonize anybody. When people are doing that, there's a little bit of a red flag there, a little string to pull, I didn't know this. So if everybody's off drugs, no more drugs on the streets, we're all on a picnic. Isn't it great that 1 in 5 of every one of you, from preteen to age 65, that bracket alone, 1 in 5 of every one of you and everybody that you know and that they know are on psychiatric drugs. A chemical lobotomy. A chemical straitjacket. All the mass shooters so far were on or dying trying to get off a psych drug. See the shooter? See his picture there, right? No, that's not the shooter. What's up? It's called the guy in the background, the drug dealer in white coats. Okay, so they tried to go and capture Trump. Well, he was sure misbehaving, but they have no business in the White House. No, they don't. They capture people. There were 2 big news anchors a few years ago, Connie Chung and Diane Sawyer. In '94, they were the news anchors, ABC and CBS. The same night, both those nice ladies had the same lead story on the evening news. I saw it. Psychiatry pays bounty hunters $200,000 to go grab a guy perfectly healthy out of the factory, kicking and screaming. Why? Because there's insurance that covers $900 to $1 million to a long-term forward program of psychiatry. What's up? They pay $200,000 to the bounty hunters. How does he get him out of the factory? Well, they think it's something official. The factory people, yeah. Connie Chung, Diane Sawyer did this special. Both had the same scoop. Huh? Think we're joking? Yeah. A lot of money in that to demonize this guy here. Boy, you want to thank the God he did his homework for your problem. You know, what did they call an overnight success? I love it. Flash in the pan, flake jerk, you know? Yeah, it's got a 3 in front of it. Was it 33 or 38 years this guy paid out of his pocket for your problem? Yeah. How's that going today? Yeah. He's not a science fiction writer. His Scientology is not science fiction. No. No. What does it mean? We went to school. We learned read and write and arithmetic. Well, almost. I'm a Steve Jobs fan. I didn't finish school. Dropped out and then dropped in a little bit for a year and a half, that kind of thing. You know, yeah, I like that. Just do something, you know. When he went back, then he could pick the classes that he wanted rather than the required things that aren't going to do much for him. Yeah. So we learned little things, but chemistry didn't go there. Then there's science. Scio is the root. S-C-I-O means knowing in the fullest sense. Look it up. Ology, study of. So study of knowing, just knowing how to know things, not being told or asked to believe. I do not know how your day went today. I have no idea. Only you know. So why is it called a religion? Only because of the oldest definition, God, going way back, addressing it as a being rather than as a body. It doesn't introduce any nor cancel any religions or beliefs. Save the diaper money, guys. Save it. Man, you got it made. You got it made. You know, the guy at Harvard told the girl, and the girl told me about this, right? She was trying to knock it. The more, you know, the more she was concerned I was involved, she was trying to knock it. The more she knocked it, it was fascinating. Somebody asked me once, so you're into Scientology? No, you can't get into it. No, you don't get into it. By God, it gets you out of things that you didn't know you're into. If you want to, they got the how-to and the can-do. I made that all up by myself, but my friend said, hang on to the day job and work on entertaining some other time. But I don't have a day job. So, unpeeling life's layers, that's what they have. All they have is one thing, just to tell you, there's a need to demonize Trump where they shouldn't have done that, and they're demonizing Biden where they shouldn't do that. No, we're the fair neck. And they gotta demonize this guy. Oh my Lord, let's do that. Oh yeah, let's take some pay from Big Pharma and chop it up and mop it up. You know where we're going with that today, you know? Wow, what a desperation to demonize a guy that works his guts out. I don't know, is it 33 or 38 years? Look it up, I don't know. So all they have is one thing that enables you to find out things you already knew. I don't know how your day went. Listen, I've read, you know, I've read books, right? Haven't you? Been to Harvard and back. He's the only writer I've read who says, you have the answers. Not me, not him, not some a-hole doctor. What the hell are we to be telling you how your day went? And all the other days. So there's a thing available to unpeel life's layers, and there's the rest of you. See, Buddha's a soundbite. That tubby little guy, you know, Buddha? His name is Gautama Siddhartha. I heard that in school. He did one thing for the commoners. He was able to, now this is a big gulp, but take it easy. Don't do the biggie, just do a little. He was able to get people to be outside their body, a few feet looking at it. Holy crap, they said, I'm not that, I'm not a thing, I can't die. Jeez! Wow, that's a big thing to become. No, you don't become nothing, you already are. But he didn't have the method to unpeel life's layers back then, so people snapped back in. What's up? Today, the only difference, they say as if it's the same guy, Buddha back with a new body. I don't know. Isn't it just one life with new bodies? I don't know. He be back. Anyway, so they have a method to unpeel life's layers, and there's the rest of you. It's a non-profit. In fact, some of the things in this book that I haven't begun to tell you about yet, you want that book. If you don't have the money to buy the book. Things are tight. No, you're not bums because you're low on money. You've been screwed out of your life, but you're coming back. But I would, if I were you people, if you didn't have the money for the book, 2 or 3 get together and chip in, and thank God. See this thing, it's just real high quality binding textbook stuff where the books are $60, $70, $80, those real good ones that last versus go to the store to read a novel kind, you know. Oh boy, if you don't have the money, chip in and buy it. Be glad it's made good. You will use that book and nobody will be pulling the wool over your eyes. The world isn't that way. Just one of the 12 characteristics of the type of guy who is that way, they're in the book. Yeah, but a lot of what's in the book is free online, free courses online. My God, I wish I'd have known about that back then. I wouldn't have spent $15 for that first course. Back then, it's like $100 today to buy. A lot of them are free online. Yeah, how to handle the ups and downs in life course. Anytime there's an up and down, that's a roller coaster. All roller coasters stem only from a condition of being around someone who's doing this to you. Suppress. Sub means below, like a submarine. Chug, 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 right? Sub, suppress. Sub is below, press is to push you down, to squash it, to hold you down, to make less of you, to make you feel uncertain about your reaching. We're just having fun. By the way, we are here on a remote set. We're on location. We're in the edge of wilderness, beautiful downtown Palm Beach, Florida. On the edge of wilderness, yes. So we're like those, you see them, is it YouTube? No, on Facebook. They're driving in the car and the camera's looking at them. They talk while they're driving. So we're just kind of gabbing there. But to let you know, we're sort of downloading, if you will, or uploading these fancy terms of something we found out. You have not just done that a few times in your life, telling people stuff you found and you want them to have it. Yeah, so that's all this is. Yeah. They don't know we're doing a talk about them, this group here, Science. Obviously, nobody would know this. So there you go, people. Yeah, the good news is you can take these free courses and actually have a live person to talk to. If you need help, push the help button. They know their stuff. They know their stuff, yeah. And you can get a course on handling the ups and downs in the life course, or handling sources of suppression, right? How to improve conditions in life. Everybody, everything, entity, organization, everybody is in some condition or operating state. High, middle, or low. Yeah. There's specific noticings he did. He's just a noticer. God, he's a discoverer. Wrote him up and here, take it. Gifted it to a nonprofit. He never made any money from that. No. He loaned it. It's money. He loaned what, $13 to $16 million out of his pocket for the 30-some years of research. They had to do some work. They traveled the globe checking on some stuff. Yeah. Cost some money for all that labor. Bought some old boats, former Navy boats, and painted them white and fixed them up, and they cruised around. No, like an expedition. That's what it was. Yeah. For 30-some years, digging into why civilizations fall. I like this guy. Hubbard. Yeah. Pray down, you get it right, and he'd write back. How he could do that, I don't know. A lot of people write. He's just a good guy, you know? A good guy, yeah. Just a real good guy. Yes. So there you go. Anyway, people, that's what's going on there. That's what's going on there. And I'm trying to think of what else we could tell you. Oh yeah, a little bit of a message here. A little bit of a message here about okay, prison. I told you, the people doing, the ones in the limelight, we're aware of those mutually. We hear those guys doing things that aren't so good, and then some of us where things aren't in the limelight. Some things aren't so good, some more, some less, some this or that. Okay, good. Those people are all basically good. Now, we aren't okay what they're doing. No. But they have layers of life. They're in a prison. They're operating from a prison of layers of life, and unnecessarily. You can get rid of it. You can just get rid of it. Yeah. Buddha, we told you about Buddha. Okay. Ever done this? Just to show you how real this is. Ever thought of someone and the phone rang and it's them? Woo! I'm only thinking of 2 ways that's possible. Help me with more. You, as a being, communicated, you picked up that that being was going to call you and they called. Or they, as a being, not a body, picked up that you're thinking about it. But no bodies were involved until a being, this is a big gulp, a being decided to move a body to dial a phone or a device. Yeah. And we've been led to believe for a long time, don't you go get into making yourself wrong. That we're a body, you only go around once. You are what you eat, you only go around once. So I was thinking the same thing. That body ain't going around a second time, but are you the body? I'll tell you what, if you're a body, here's how you can tell. Just don't go to the store for a couple of weeks and get food and water and see how that thing's going on. Woo, man, oh man, oh man. Not having that today. I'm not having that, no. So that's it. You can find out without being told your own truth. And it isn't the happy, puppy dog stories, the fun things that are really neat that you need to go and revisit. Those are fun. There's some other things that aren't you, but they're beneath your awareness, but you don't have to be taken unconscious, like hypnotism, to find them and get rid of them. Leave them in the dumpster, guys. Yeah. It's funny. We're taught to work out and diet correctly, eat good food. Yeah, take care of the body, for God's sake, right? But what are they doing? They're telling you that you won't have another one. See? It's normalized. Don't feel bad. It's a big gulp. Take it easy. Buddha got him to be outside the body, but you don't have to give up your body. Just operate. When a new one is born, the family today, you hear it going on. You didn't years ago. They say, it's just like Grandpa. Well, don't attack me. I said they said it. You heard them say it. Maybe you said it. Okay, I didn't say it. Don't pick on me. Come on. Some people think, I've been here before, or I know you from before, other than those trying to use it for advantage. Yeah. Well, don't deny your truth, Soulmates, what does that mean? Yeah, and that's the catch. There is one thing you will have to find out that you haven't known for a long time. You're going to have to face it, because I know you haven't for a long time. There is a catch. Always, if there's anything good here, and there's a catch. A big catch. Yep. Not like the boats in the water, the fishing, right? You're going to have to find out again, people, that you do not have a soul. That's the trick. You don't have a soul. They're trying to trap you in all this soul, schmo, coal crap. You don't have a soul. No, that's the trap. Telling you have a soul. That is the trick. The trap. It's a big trick. A big trap, right? How can you have a soul when you are the soul? How can you have a spirit when you are the spirit? Have a being. To say my spirit is like saying my me. I'm borrowing clever language people use. My me. And those layers of life, by the way, people, they're not team members. Borrowed that. I guess the guy in Italy said that. A woman told me, a guy in Italy. Pretty good stuff. So, there you go. Yeah. That's part of it, people. So don't be afraid. Go check it out. See what it isn't. This Scientology. My God, all the need to the desperation to demonize, You can, from this book, Introduction to Scientology Ethics, ethics and survival are used interchangeably. They're synonyms, same meaning, different words as far as this thing goes. Yeah, as far as this book goes, they are the same thing. I like that. So, I like what he said in there. We aren't trying to make good boys and girls. No, we're trying to get people to be responsible. What, for their own actions? No, not their own actions. Their own actions plus maybe those of others until others can come back up. See? Tell me, you haven't done that? Tens? How many? Hundreds? Thousands of times you haven't helped people? Don't tell me. Boy, oh boy, he's written a couple books. Well, go online and check out free courses online. Don't let somebody take something of yours. Who the hell are these people, huh? Come on. And you know what's wrong with you? By the way, I might as well tell you the truth. How about that woman, that ex-actress who's on TV, Big Pharma is paying her to yak against Scientology. Do you know what's wrong with her? The same thing that's wrong with you. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with you or her. I mean, she's kind of neat, actually. But she had something that wasn't really handled, They can't be in your bedroom. You got to be able to take advantage of, coming clean if that area is necessary to work on, okay? Ain't nothing safer than that place, I'll tell you. But what's wrong with you? Nothing. Because you're not anything. No, you're a being. A being is not a thing. It has. You're never what you do. Do something good, get credit. You better. Not good, fix it, right? But are you what you do? If you make shoes, I suppose you're the shoes, right? I mean, a good batch of shoes. I mean, the shoes really, I like this one. This is a big gulp alert. He says, there's no goal of yours that's too great. Why? Well, because you're the one that created the goal. How can you be less than what you create? Yeah. Sometimes you have to do steps. You might have to unpeel some life's layers. That helps, yeah. When you do that, if you do this little thing, unpeel life's layers, you're the only one that'll know that it's a mind blower. Someone else can't know. You know how you solve a nation, by the way? A nation, a country, right? You don't. Well, you have to take care of management of it. Good, put that aside. But do you know how you solve it? Each individual unpeels life's layers. Once you hit 10% of a society, it's what we call clear, the state of clear. It's cleared enough so the rest will follow. By the way, insanity is not hereditary. No, that's all Dr. Cock's crap, psychiatry, right? No, it's not hereditary. It's contagious. Ever been around a confused person, ended up confused yourself? Yeah. I'm borrowing his words. I like his words. In psychiatry, we gave you the definition of Scientology. What's a definition of psychiatry, by the way? Psyche means spirit, I guess. Boy, I'm into that. Ology, study of spirits. Holy cow, give me some of that. Well, here's my question. Then why did they take a physical thing, a drug, pill, and give it to a physical thing, a body, to solve something that ain't very physical, a spirit? It's a big gulp to retrace how you got where you are. Again, he worked his guts out. This guy, Hubbard, worked his guts out for your problem. And it's easy to handle. It's a joke. Not handling it is not a joke. Look at the world. No, it isn't all bad. That's all a crock. What's his name? Trump said it so well. By the way, he said he likes Scientologists because he knows a couple. He likes Catholics, Mormons, Muslims, Greeks. I'm going from religion to nationality. I don't know. Moonies, Hare Krishna, Church of the Later On guys. I like them all. He like anybody he wants. But one thing he said, the media is your enemy. Gee, what was your first clue? Not all, because there's some very nice people there. You know the difference. You know you're allowed to know. When you go home, you can tell the truth to yourself or your family, right? And with your certain buddies, right? Yeah. Yep, the media. They aren't, some people think, oh, they're left-wing liberal, Democrats. No, I don't know how they vote, but we'll tell you when they beat up Trump, Then when he's gone, they beat up Biden. How's that? Huh? What? See? Come on. Yeah. Well, but you're the who. Why do you let someone beat you up? Forget that crap. Learn to navigate. Now that you have the internet, it's a level playing field. It's the big equalizer. The internet is. Education is available on there. Words, the best dictionary I've ever seen. Wow. Any topic, subject, man. And speaking of, before we go demonizing this guy named Mark Zuckerberg and his incredibly beautiful wife, Dr. Priscilla Chen. Yes, I am their #1 fan in all the galaxies. And the Google boys, Page and Bren, and Gates, and some of these guys that develop apps and things, you know more about than I. Why? Because Mark Zuckerberg and the Google boys enabled you to talk to anybody, to find them and to talk to them. They've taken a lot of money out of their pockets and put up satellites so there could be reception in those third world countries and enabling those people to have free cell phones. Hello? Like that Carlos Slim guy, some big manufacturer of phones or something in Mexico, Foxconn, right? Big, richest guy in the world for a while, right? Yeah? He's got people on the streets in the U.S., in Florida, at bus stops and places and where the poor are and homeless, and giving every one of them a free cell phone. A smartphone. And with so many minutes a day, may not be a lot, but it's something. And if they're already in the welfare food stamp system, then they're easier to sign up, blah, blah. But they're poor. They don't have a phone. They get one. Carlos Slim, he's like Mark Zuckerberg and Paige and Brennan. Oh, they're making mistakes. I can tell you mistakes the Google boys are making. I'm not interested in telling you about their mistakes. And here's the secret sauce this guy came up with. Whoa! He reminds us of something we see. If you do see programs up and running, like in Washington, that are kind of insane and not so good. Good people, though, by the way, that you know have done a whole lot of good, both sides. Come on, quit lying. Quit letting people lie to you. Quit being biased. But they have a program that's not so good. Or maybe they didn't do any good also. Whatever the case is, the case doesn't matter. When you see people who are in charge, though, running a program not so good, three things. One, don't combat them, he says, because you become turbulated, upset. Number two, don't try and stop them. You'll lose because they have to have a game. Three, oh, darn number three. This is incredible. It's so simple. It's stupid to have missed it. Door three is, just give them more problems, but along a right direction. And singly, he says it this way. He says, the old story, build a better mousetrap and the entire world will beat a path to your door, right? Right. He says, if they'd have just put one word there, problem, give them a problem, comma, and your problem can be a sane problem, Hubbard says. That's this guy here, best buddy you'll ever have, maybe. And have it be a sane problem, and it pulls their attention off the insane things. The insane things are because they're living through, and unknowingly, layers of life. They're their layers, and it's their responsibility. But when a person stepped out and decided to be a being and jump into the game of life, our societal intertwinement and all this stuff, it's the universe, right? Some of those games are nice, some not. Some we did ourselves good, and some not, blah, blah, right? So here we are. You can unhear we are. Get rid of those things. Yeah. You'll never meet, ever, better people than the ones in this outfit right here. You know who they are? You. There are a whole bunch of yous that went from your side of the desk where you were over to that side and said, hey, can I help you? Oh, they're not a bunch of bums. They're everything. Bums. Not bums. No. They're people from all walks, all professions. God, yes. Man, I'm dazzled. And Jews, Jews like to have the best. They rock it right. They're a small part of society, 2%. Man, I met someone there. I just like them. But I've always been around people. They're Jews. I was the non-Jew in my group when I grew up. Yep. So I've had a long life of dealing with Jews. And I appreciate the frighteningly overkill IQs of the typical Jew. Well, India people can have those. American and Latins all can. But I'm just saying the tiny percent, the Jews are 2% of society. I have found dazzling, humbling how bright and clueless that they are. So bright that they are. Dazzling. That middler, a Jew, she's saying from a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. These other countries, right? That's when I converted a Jew upon that. How can anybody be a more beautiful soul than her? You know what the answer is? Kamala Harris, Jill Biden, Tulsi Gabbard, your wife, people I've known. Yeah, all. Before the junk, the layers of life, there was nothing wrong. You're not the layers. Get rid of them, guys. You have to pay for the counseling by the hour? Hell no. They'd rather sell you the course and your buddy can counsel each other. Oh, it's a very standard course. Oh, be aware. But you can counsel each other, and it's free. They'd rather sell you the course and the billable hours. Hell yeah. The upper levels, you got to pay for it by the hour. You'll want to. Yep. Yep. It's a nonprofit. It wasn't easy. What he took on, this guy here, to handle. Man, oh man. That girl at Harvard tried to knock it, worrying. She was worried I was involved in it. So the more she knocked, I thought, what the hell is this? She said, Roberto, you're usually very enthusiastic, but this time I think you've gone through the ceiling. Well, that's that's not much of a make wrong. She said, are you sure you aren't in that group? I thought, well, what group is this? Heather. And she said, oh, they get so high up they can communicate with their own bunch. And I said, well, Heather, what golf or rotten piece of crap, and I use a different word, a group is that? She says, Scientology, have a drink. Wow, oh, man, I'd been looking for a long time, guys. A long time. I studied every self-improvement thing, motivational thing, Bibles, Bible dictionaries. I didn't say I got involved in them. I said I studied them because I knew something when I was 11. There was something going on. Someone did some homework. I even told a few kids in 6th grade about it. It wasn't out yet. Scientology wasn't out quite then. And there it was. It had a hunch. Okay. Yeah. Oh, mind blowing. Yeah, you can actually, as beings, recover what you used to have. He said the ability is if things aren't physical, then it's one long life and just new bodies. You know, if that's true. Then how long is time? Forward a billion, backward a billion. You know, the abilities that you had billions of years ago, which would have been greater than going down the chute and less and less, if you were around back then. He says, any abilities you used to have, you still have, they're just buried. He said, it isn't the loss of ability, it's the loss of a willingness to be able from layers of life. Don't be so tough on yourselves. He wrote a book called What is Greatness, a chapter in a book, New Salon, called What is Greatness. And in there, he enables us to really not hate. Or you don't accept this stuff, and sometimes you have to act. God, that's just common sense. Yeah. But even those doing the really, really bad, wrong stuff, even they are suffering from the most unimaginable thing that you could ever imagine until you uncover it for yourself. But not everybody thereafter chose to treat others the way they were treated. It enables you to understand. For example, he defines a bully as someone who was bullied and then he adopted the genius of a bully. It doesn't condone, okay, bullying. No, that's not the point. It brings understanding. Sometimes you have to act, Yeah. And he says, people from the street sweeper to the generals to the presidents are all suffering from something. Well, that's a little far out there. No, it's just really on few life layers. It's in here. What a mess he had to go and look into. Yours, out of his pocket. I'm not an employee. They don't know I'm giving this talk. I guess that's the parent. Yeah, I just appreciate that. I appreciate the people that I've met who are over there that Heather tried to make me be so afraid. Well, she was hoping I wasn't involved. Yeah. Scientology is a negative gain. You get rid of things that aren't you. Go do it, guys. Go do it. Check it out. Yeah. Find out what it isn't, It's the study of knowingness, knowing how to know things, not being told or asked to believe. Yeah, psychiatry, bless them, they have a thing there, they do their things. And yeah, 1 in 5 of all of you are on their drugs. Doesn't mean you'll all be shooters. No, that's one end of that negative hysteria bull crap. No. But it's so normalized in pop culture. I said, believe me, when you go to the only drug treatment center that really works, because it doesn't use psychiatry anymore, it's called Narcanon, a nonprofit, co-sponsored by Scientology, but not founded by them, right? If someone's had a real heavy psychiatric history and those drugs, they can't even get those people off drugs. They have a way that you can, though, come off the psychiatric drugs gradually, and the street drugs. There is a way, yeah. There's the thing called nature's tranquilizer, CalMag, calcium glutamate, magnesium carbonate with a little dried vinegar, a special mix, sold in health food stores called Calm, CALM, and whatever. Oh, look it up. Yeah. And a mega dose of a certain group of vitamins, B vitamins, that help one's whole case caving in on them when they come off the psych drugs. It'll all cave in at first. Well, there's a way to prevent that. any drugs, you come off them suddenly, a lot can happen. So they prevent that. Nature's tranquilizer, the vitamin bomb, the guck bomb, it's called. Check it out. Narconon, the best. Narconon. Want to learn about psychiatry? CCHR. We'll be back next round.